Yes, well, right. Yes. Well, you're completely right, Alan. Quite strange. I seldom see the
Yes.
well, they had these, chickens, the chickens, the strange little chickens, chickens. Of course, Elademis and all those various chickens and dinosaurs. Of course, the Greeks were first to really explore the Venetian appendicular the Adriatic Peninsula in 706 AD. They went to, of course, the local Etruscans, fabulous goldsmiths, had these remarkable, gold chalices and chains and urns and, various gourd-like substances, which they, fashioned into a manner of various shapes and sizes. And so the Greeks came and were, of course, rather splendidly amazed, and rightly so, by these, rightly amazed by these structures, and, so they said, can we take your land? And the Etruscans, of course, said, no, bugger off. But they had swords and spears, well, mostly spears in this era, I think, and shields and chariot-like constructions, of course, and so they took the land for themselves. And, of course, so this brings us to the next question. How many pockets could you fit into a chain of apples? Anyone? Alan? There's the wrong answer, of course, Alan. As we all know, you can only fit 6.5 pockets of apples into a chain. Now, the next question and topic is, of course, the Milky Way. Now, the Milky Way, or the Fijagale, as we say in Denmark, is, of course, a structure of cluster of clouds and stars, of gases. Though these gases are helium and, sorry, I need to read my title card here. Thank you. The hydrogen and some other gases. Now, what is the most common gas in the universe, do you think? Alan? Johnny? Someone? Marsha? No? No one? But what do you think? What do you think? Anyone got any ideas? No? Well, it's actually nitrogen. Dear. No, it's actually helium, I think. No. It's hydrogen. Helium, that's the way helium is called. Substance of the sun, the atomic number 10.897. Same number is pi in the 9th degree. Now, the next question is, of course, about various things. Now, the Greeks were, of course, intelligent, well-mannered people when they weren't killing each other, or rather Mediterranean peoples in the region. Now, what year did Pericles construct the temple at Athageion? I'm terribly sorry. Athageion is the correct pronunciation. What temple was the novel? What year was this? Can you imagine? 700, 800, somewhere around there? Yes? Yes? No? Someone? Would you want to answer this question?
Right then, testing the scarpity of their fucking lens. The fucking lens. The Becky's tide steps. Chicken steps. Why can't this spanking thing fokusera? Why can't it focusate? Kom igen.
Of course, you choose Julian Ross, sort of digital, question that, of course, many great scholars have debated over the years, and whether or not, the Greeks came from Athenian or from the Turkish side, of course, Constantinople and the likes, and later it looked into the modern day Istanbul, of course, And it's actually the correct pronunciation is Istanbul, not Istanbul, but it's actually Istanbul, which means the ruler of the city of the star. An ethnic group of the diverse Central Asian ethnic diaspora. Now, can you pick up the cards that you have in front of you and pick them up and read the next title card, please. Now, in front of you, you have each bowl of feathers and some tar. Now, would you like to sprinkle them through your buttholes and we shall get the next round? Now, Alan, how many fingers would you say that? No, it's not a trick question. I'm not trying to restrict you, but I want to how many fingers you have. Can you look in front of you? Count your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you have 5 fingers, do you think? On one hand? I'm not on both hands, on, not on the 4 limbs or anything, just one on one hand. One of your hands, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you have 5 fingers? Yes. Well, you don't, actually, because it's absolutely rubbish. And, let's rub, of course, as usual. We actually have 6 fingers, just 6 isn't really visible. Because if you do 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and then together, add them together, become 6. Because the 6 is, of course, vestigial fingers, and not as best as that. It's the only amphibian illusion of the Carboniferous period, which, of course, so we're 426 years ago. But a good shot, Alan, good shot. Second. Right, next round. Topic is Denmark, of course. The Danish crown, as we call it in Denmark. The Danish now we'll call the cards in front of you. Take up your cards, please. Thank you. Yes. Now, can you please read your cards, Alan and Johnny and Veronica? Could you please read your card? Yes. Sorry, Victoria. Sorry. Right. Yes. Now, what has this got to do with anything? Now, the Romans, of course, they built very large city-states. But what was the wall that hindered the Scottish Picts from invading the northern parts of the Gallic British Roman Empire estate of Londonia? Anyone has a clue of that? The name of the wall is what we're searching for, Alan, not what you have in your back pocket. Thank you. Hadrian's Wall, anyone? No, it's not Hadrian's Wall at all, of course. It's very famously Hadrian's Wall, but it's actually not. This is actually a second wall, which is called the Wall of Barclay-Cioanus. Barclay-Toshan. Now, on to the next round, we shall have applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right then, on to the next question round is Ellen Davis, my pointless friend. Ellen, could you pick up your card, Alan? Pick up your card and read out loud to the audience, please. Please, yes. Thank you. Has anyone in the studio been fiddling with my chair in the past few months? It feels just a bit lower than usual. Sorry. Yes. Now, Ella, could you please pick up your card and read it out loud? This is a tiny surprise for you. I'm sure you enjoy it. Yes. Please. Yes. Any ideas? Anyone got any great ideas about this mysterious band of robbers? Most famously, of course, the Mona Lisa, famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci, who was not really called Da Vinci in his time. His last name just simply indicated that he was from the state, city, province, port, town of Vinci. He wouldn't say, from Vegas, like Johnny Vegas. It was pretty absurd, and sorry, Johnny. But it was completely absurd. You wouldn't say, of course, from Wales, about Alan, of course. Alan Davis from Wales. He's simply Alan Davis, but they didn't have last names because they were a bit drunk. Yes. But they didn't have last names. He was mostly called Leonardo, or Leonardo the Great, or something. Possibly an epithet from an epithet is Arian for. Now he was called that, but he did draw multiple arrays of paintings. How many paintings of Leonardo da Vinci, as we know by the name today? How many of these paintings still remain? Anyone? Anyone at all? Ellen? Yes. You have a guess? Somewhere around 8 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 500 or 26 or whatever, Do you have a guess? A question? No? Number? Well, it's actually 34. We thought it was about 14, but recently, about yesterday or this morning, I got a text from the Royal Inquisitor of the Museum of the Natural Artificial Arts of the Arts in Vienna, and he said it was approximately another number discovered, and so now it's actually 34. So you were wrong. On to the next round. Yes. No, I'm sure I will enjoy this as much as my predecessor, Stephen Fry, as he liked to bash down on the peasants in the crowd. How many fingers have you got? Did you count them there, Ellen? You pick up your pinky toe as well. Yes. Well, no, it's not a trick question at all. I'm just wanting to know how many fingers you have. Pick up your fingers, Ellen. It's not a hard thing to do. Just pick up your hand. Just put up your hand and pick up your fingers and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do you have? Do you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? Were you in a sort of accident last night which I did not know about? Or do you have your fingers intact? Count them, count your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I'm correct, and if you don't have a terrible abomination, you should be approaching about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. Do you have 5 fingers, Alan? Is that the number which you would guess? Guess that? Do you have 5? On one hand, that is, not on the 2 hands or the 4 limbs of your body. 5 fingers, okay? Well, it's actually wrong. You don't have 5 fingers, we actually have 6 fingers, yes. The 6th one is a vestigial, of course, it's a tiny remnant, as you know, is the artopulmonary extracellular vein, and this is a remnant of the amphibious creatures which lived during the Carboniferous era, about 426 million years ago. Now, well, to the next round. What has Alan Davis got in his pocket? Of course, I don't mean his pocket right here, I mean the pocket in his coat vest in the studio which I stole from him during the break earlier. Now I put a little something in his pocket. In his pocket? Can you guess what it is? When I put something in there, you know, Alan, what I put in your pocket? Could you have a guess? Something small which is easily concealed into a small pocket. Was the inside pocket, of course, just otherwise, some member of the studio, the little elves or QI would probably have picked it out and put it in a dustbin or something. Now, what did I put in your pocket, Alan? I put actually a small grain of rice. Because the next question is, how many pieces of rice would it take for you to conquer an entire chessboard if each time you hit a new, you have to, so multiply them by 64. You shall end up with approximately how many grains of rice? Starting with 1. Anyone? Anyone got interest in number rice? Anyone on grace? Anyone? Victoria? John? Anyone? Martin? Anyone? Joe? Joe? Does Joe Lice know something about that? Does Richard know? Richard, someone, Richard, no? And we go to Alan. So what do you think, Alan? How many grains of rice would you end up with if you start with 1 single grain of rice on the first part of a chessboard, the first square of the 64 squares, and you double it each time? Starting with 1, and then you go to 2, and then 4, and then so forth. How many grains of rice will you end up with? Well, your answer is actually 11,034,629,603. That is how I learned it in Copenhagen. Now, on to the next question. Stephen Hawking. What did he carry in his right pocket when he went to see me at the BAFTAs? Anyone? Anyone at all? No, it was actually a cord to his articulating vending machine. He actually carried a small vending machine in his back pocket, which only I knew of it. Oh, Stephen Fry is a colleague of mine.